In the 12-month span starting in January of last year, rents in New York City have risen 33%, which is almost double the national average and the highest spike among America's largest cities, according to a study by the New York Times. Average asking rents in New York City have climbed to $3,000. Everyone is freaking out about it. Why is the rent so damn high? Here are the key reasons we have to pay so much to live in New York City. Number 7. Lack of economic activity after pandemic. Let's not forget the extraordinary times ushered in by the pandemic. It brought all economic activities to a standstill in early 2020. As a result, unemployment rose to historic highs. The pandemic also created uncertainty in the real estate market, so much so that even potential buyers chose to postpone buying property during the lockdown and settle on renting a house. As a result, the demand for rental property increased, and so did the rent price. Just before the pandemic, the median price of rent throughout the city was $2,900. In the first year of the pandemic, rents dropped by around 14%. In January 2021, median rental prices climbed back again to $2,895. Now, in 2022, rents are above $3,000. This is how Xiaolong, a software developer, found himself able to live without roommates by the time he turned 30. He moved into a one-bedroom in Midtown Manhattan early last year and paid $2,150 per month rent. He was aware he was getting a deal as part of a mass move by landlords to discount rents amid the pandemic, to keep tenants in place while many others fled the city at its COVID-19 peak. Then, in April 2022, when he logged into the online payment portal like usual to submit rent, a message popped up. Starting in June, he'll be paying $3,650. He was shocked to see, but he was left with no other choice than to pay this high rent. This is happening to every other person in New York City. Number 6. Property taxes are very high in New York City. Property tax is a shackle that enslaves a homeowner forever. Property tax makes you a renter in your own home. It's because if you don't pay taxes, the city or county will take your house, sell it, and recoup all the tax you didn't pay. New York has the second highest property tax rates on rental apartment buildings among large cities in the country. Only Detroit's are higher, and that's because property there is barely worth anything. Some portion of this added tax burden gets shifted to tenants as higher rents. The median property tax in New York is $3,755 per year for a home worth the median value of $306,000. The exact property tax levy depends on the county in New York the property is located in. Number 5. High construction costs in New York City. Residential construction is 19% more expensive in Manhattan than Chicago. Higher construction costs mean higher rents. There are lots of reasons for high construction costs in New York. Costs are higher for all kinds of workers, including construction workers. Regulatory system is also a likely culprit. For example, New York has an unusually stringent law requiring frequent and costly inspections of building facades, which is why you see so much more scaffolding in Manhattan than other cities. And there are no non-union crane operators in New York City, meaning any construction project tall enough to require a crane must be built with union labor. That adds costs. Number 4. Higher down payments in New York City. The average down payment for an apartment in New York City is 20% of the purchase price. Most co-op apartments have stricter financial requirements, which require a minimum of 20% down, and some buildings require 30% or more. The average cost of a New York home is around $250,000. That means that a potential buyer should save at least $50,000 in advance to purchase a house, which is a considerable sum for many. Number 3. Outdated zoning laws in New York City. New York City has shortages of affordable housing. However, even if the city wants to build houses for low-income families, residents vehemently oppose these projects. According to them, these low-cost housing in their neighborhood will drive down their property value and increase crime. Because of this opposition, the city can't build enough affordable houses. Moreover, New York City has outdated zoning rules which prevent the construction of high-rise buildings in many neighborhoods. As there are no more vacant parcels in New York City, the apartment number is fixed, but the New York City population increases daily. Thus, high demand increases rent. Number 2. Expensive home insurance in New York City. You may dream of living in a house with stainless steel appliances and granite countertops. But in the real world, you may have to adjust your priorities and look for a home that's in a safe neighborhood and is free of major maintenance issues. Everyone wants to keep their investment safe. Therefore, homeowners carry home insurance. Due to high property values in New York City, the home insurance premium is high compared to other cities. For example, in the Bronx, a $700,000 house has a minimum of $245 monthly home insurance premium. Homeowners share this burden by increasing rent prices. Number 1. Tenant-friendly laws in New York City. It's really hard to evict a tenant in New York. It's also the reason that landlords almost uniformly require a full month's rent in deposit. The hassle of being a landlord in a tenant-friendly jurisdiction also discourages rental construction at the margin, hence, again driving up rents and encourages landlords to be extra picky about tenants' credit. It's just another reason it's so difficult and expensive to rent here. What's happening next? It seems like rents will just keep going up. To better protect renters, more needs to be done on the policy level, although that's often an uphill climb. Another suggestion by researchers is to convert all of that office space that's sat empty for 2 years into housing. While such a move is expensive and lengthy for cities like New York, researchers estimate it could create as many 14,000 new apartments, which will help to solve the high rent issue to some extent. Location is a significant factor in higher rent costs. If you decide to live in a popular area of town, you are likely to pay higher rent. Some densely populated neighborhoods may mean you will also incur additional charges like parking fees. But if you are okay with living in a home a few miles away from more popular areas, your rent will likely be much lower. Plus, you can still take advantage of all the perks the area has to offer. Another option that will help cut your rental expenses in finding a roommate. Living with someone can easily help you save anywhere from 40% to 50% off basic living expenses like utilities, rent, and food. Please share your views about this video in the comment section. Do hit the notification bell for more interesting videos from around the world. We at Find Travel carry out a lot of research and talk to officials, residents, and travel guides to give you information that is true and accurate to help you find the best locations in the world where you can settle or visit. We are committed to providing you with the best possible information about pros and cons of different places around the world, so you can make an informed and sensible choice about where to reside or settle. Thanks for watching. Eat, sleep, travel, and stay calm.